we're all here. Just give you a second just to flick that screen. Oh, feels like a shame to shut the blinds, but need to be able to see me. Okay, so a little bit of posture work as we focus into our balance. So just set yourselves up, feet hip distance apart, and we're just going to roll through the shoulders really, so we can just start to open up the shoulders and lengthen those long muscles that sit between the shoulders and the neck. Begin to connect with your breathing. And just see if you can settle your mind. So focusing just on how you feel, how you move, and how deep you breathe. Couple more. Enjoy these nice slow movements. Okay, and then I just want you to use the next one to set your shoulder position. So drop your shoulders down and away from your ears. Gentle tuck of those shoulder blades into your back pockets. Nice long collarbones, and be as tall as you can. So imagine every bone in your spine is just being separated. We're going to take into our dumb waiter, so elbows gently pressed in at the waist. 2 trays of drinks, okay? We're going to take the left tray. We're going to open out to the side, squeeze that shoulder blade gently behind you, then come back forwards again, take it into the right side, okay? If you want to connect with that deeper core, as the hand floats away, gently draw your tummy in and then release. Breathing out as we open and in as we close. Nice and simple, but let's get it looking really, really good. So almost as if you're stretching your collarbone away from you as that tray of drinks floats out, and then rotating forwards. Good. Now starting to think a little bit about opposites now, so challenging that coordination. So your feet should be hip distance apart. As you rotate your left hand to the side, we bring the right foot into heel raise. Lower down with the heel raise as the hand comes back to the center, and then swap sides. So we've set that shoulder, keep all of that going. Now you're focusing on this hip position here. So as you alternate heel raise, make sure that your pelvis doesn't hitch out to the side. Keep those pelvic bones level. Imagine your pelvis is a tray of drinks, and you've got to keep those trays resting level across the brim of your pelvis as well. Good stuff. So we're going to build up with this. So at any point, if it gets too much, then you can always just go back to the exercise before. Holding it on one side, okay. Now what we're going to do, we've lifted the heel off the ground. Instead of working into the heel raise, we're going to take it into a standing clam. So the knee opens out as the hand comes into your dumb waiter position, and then we close forwards. Repeat on the same side. So kneecap points forwards, then rotates to the corner of the room. Really work on tucking that standing hip underneath. So focus on your pelvic bones. Can you keep them level? Okay, so hand and knee opposite, open and close. Squeeze your bottom on your standing leg to keep your hip tucked under, but also on your moving leg to really open that hip. Try not to let your trunk rotate with it. Everything here is pointing forwards. The movement comes from the hip joint and not the spine. Let me see how you're doing with that. Just drop those shoulders away from your ears. You've got a couple more. Good. Okay, building up from here now. So open out into standing clam, dumb waiter. Okay, we're going to just do a little lift and lower with that standing leg. Have your knee pointing to the corner of the room. So now if you're finding that your balance is being challenged, make your movement a little bit smaller, or hold on to something rather than holding that dumb waiter. Okay, so you're opening out into your hip, knee is open, and you're lifting and lowering. Maybe down here, maybe up here, see if you can get that knee in line with your hip. Keep that standing leg tucked underneath. You've got it. Good. Same side if you can, Elaine. We'll swap in a second. 2 more. Challenging that balance now. We're going to lift and hold, or really lightly press your toe on the floor. Imagine there's a marshmallow under your toe and you're resting on it, or you can bring it up into hold. Get these quads working, squeeze this bottom, it's going to need it. Holding or kicking, okay? Last move if you want. Whatever option, hold or kick. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lovely, come down. Oh, that got things warm, didn't it? My heart rate has gone up from that. Okay, so we're going to repeat that sequence, bring it over to the second side now, okay? So we take it into a heel raise on the opposite leg. Let's come back to that dumb waiter arm, and we come back to clam. So nice and simple, where it all began. Before we knew what was coming, and we thought we can manage this. Okay, let's go back to those focus points. So the shoulders are down, so the neck is long. The collarbones are wide. Gently press your elbow in at your waist. Make sure your pelvic bones are level. And just work on rotating that knee. Imagine a beam of light points forwards and then points to the corner of your room. 3 more like this. This is going to be harder. Second side, because we've already challenged that moving leg as it was giving us a little bit of support. Okay, now hold your clam open, hold your dumb waiter open. Option to flip that hand and take it onto a stable surface as we work into our lift and lower. Knee floats up and down. It's almost like a standing tabletop, but with that rotation of the hip. Okay, now try not to let your trunk shorten. If you've got a spare hand, place it on this hip. Try not to let this hip bone hitch up. So we're not using the pelvis to lift. We're controlling and really using the front of the thigh and the hip flexor muscles as we open the hip joint, get that bum squeezed. 3 more. Then we take it into hold. 2 more. Lift and hold. Or kick. So kick to the corner of your room. 5, 4, standing legs should be burning. 3, 2, and 1. Lovely, come down. Give those legs a shake. I was going to do a standing leg straight hold, but I don't think I could manage that, so I can't ask you to do that either. Okay. All right then, hopefully that's warmed you up nicely. Let's take it into a nice wide stance now. So feet turned out corners of the room. We've really worked on opening these hips with our clams. So let's just stand in that turnout position, and we're going to take it into our pelvic tilts from here. So something nice and simple after we've just challenged ourselves a little bit. Well done. Bring your breath back down again. If it's anything like mine, pulse is racing a little bit. Okay, and then see if you can find that nice long spine. So a little bit of a tuck of your tailbone underneath. Keeping your spine long, slide down your wall. Okay, so opening the knees and then push up to stand. So try and think about the position of the clam when your knees were open. You're repeating that similar position, so knees pointing outwards to the corners of the room. And I want you to imagine that I've come and brought a little grape around to you, and you're just going to put that grape underneath the arch of your feet. So what you need to do is just gently press into the outer borders of your feet, so you've got a little lift underneath the arch of your foot for your grape to live. Let's work that pelvic floor. Whoop, squeeze as you come up to stand. 4 more like this. Going a bit deeper if you're happy to. Everyone's looking really good. Keep that back straight, shoulders over the hips. Try not to lean forwards. Okay, we're going to add a hold on this next one. So coming down and holding. Option just to hold, or we imagine that the ceiling has just dropped down over us and we're just swaying from side to side. So straighten one leg and then straighten the other leg, but try not to let your head come back up unless you get to the middle and you need a rest, and then you're going to reset. Now, if you don't like the sway from side to side, just keep your hold steady. If you're going to go for that sway, squeeze that thigh, straighten that leg out. Feels like a lovely stretch on the inner side of the thigh, but keep your pelvic floor engaged. So you're using that deeper core just to keep everything nice and strong. Let's do a few more. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and come back to the center and push up to stand. Ooh, okay, we're all going to bend into the left leg, straighten the right leg. Okay, so if you didn't do the switches from side to side, now's your chance to get that lovely groin stretch, but it's up to you how deep you go, so you can keep it quite shallow or come a little bit deeper. Make sure this knee is pointing to the corner of your room or even the side wall if you can. Hold the position, pelvic floor, tummy drawn in. We're going to add a nice float of the arms up to the front. Sink the shoulder blades down into the back pockets and then lower them down. Good. We've got 8 reaches forwards, lift and lower. Are you all still with me? Yes, you are. Breathe out as the hands come up. You're looking wonderful. Squeeze that hip on the bent knee side. See if you can open it a little bit more. Halfway there. Keep that tummy drawn in. 3 more. 2 more. 1 more. Keep the arms lifted. We switch up to the center and over to the second side. Set that position as deep as you want to. Knee pointing forwards. Don't forget that grape underneath your arch of your foot. Tummy engaged. And repeat with the arms floating up. 8 and 7 and 6 and 5, 4, 3, 2, nearly there, and 1. Lovely. Come back to the center. Just narrow your stance ever so slightly and turn your feet forwards just to take a little bit of tension out of that inner thigh. Just finishing off with some roll downs here in that slightly wider stance. So starting nice and tall. When you're ready, slowly peel down through the bones of your spine. So the legs should be feeling a little bit looser now. We've worked them hard for the past 12 minutes or so. You don't need to work long if you work efficiently. We've worked probably every muscle group we need to. Rolling down. Hanging at the bottom, but we're going to add a bit of movement. So breathe in, and then as you breathe out, you're just going to rotate and twist towards one leg. Maybe grasping around the thigh, the shin, or the foot. Come back to the center and take it over to the second side again, grasping the leg where you can feel a comfortable stretch. Come back to the middle and then stack back up to stand again. Once you get to the top, just simply repeat. So a roll down, pause, inhale, exhale and twist, pause, inhale, exhale and twist. 2 sides, back to the center, and then we come back up again. That's really good. Lovely flexibility. Well done. Lovely, Elaine. Fingers on the floors. That's nice. Good stuff. Well done, Liz. Take your time. Don't rush these. We spend so much time rushing around. Let's be slow with this movement. Enjoy 1 more. Come back to the center. When you're finished, we're going to come down onto your mat. So come down any way you feel able to. You're going to come into a box position to begin with. So finding yourself down on your mat, hands and knees, hands slightly in front of the shoulders if you need to take pressure out of your wrists. Otherwise, we come into a box position. And just make sure you've got a little gap between your knees as well. Little balloon resting between there. So we've got quite a challenging sequence coming up. So I really want you to choose your options really nicely, okay? So taking rest as you need to. Let's just begin with a little bit of cat-cow stretch, so we can kind of just mobilise the spine. Tucking underneath with your tailbone, dropping your chin to your chest. And then lifting your tailbone and looking forwards, maybe upwards. Breathing as you move. So as we progress through the next sequence, if you feel that anything becomes too much for your back or your shoulders, then just hang out in your cat-cow stretch and join back in when you're ready. Okay, so we're going to build up and progress. We're all going to start with some box press-ups. So finding that neutral spine, lengthening your tailbone towards your heels and drawing your tummy in. Breathe in to prepare and breathe out. Slowly lower your chest down towards the mat and then push the floor away from you, bringing yourself back into your box. Options really about how deep you go. Or if you want to make it even harder, walk your hands forwards, shift your weight over your wrists. So you're just creating a longer box and then repeat your press. Okay, so short box, long box, high press or low press. Lots of ways of varying it from there. Lovely, Ivana, looks good. Just be mindful that your chest leads the movement, not your nose. So keep the back of the head floating throughout. Lovely. Nice and strong. Keeping that tail tucked underneath. Okay, we're going to add a shoulder tap in between, okay? So we do our press, then we keep a tray of drinks resting on the back of our shoulders as we take one hand across to the opposite arm and tap. If the shoulder feels too high, take your tap just to your elbow. Coming from 4 points on to 3 points. Press and tap. Keep it going. Press and tap. Very nice. Pressing and tapping. Slower you go, the better. You've got 4 more. See if you can go a bit deeper or bring your weight a bit further over your hands. 3 more. Sorry, you're going to my count, but you should be going this slow. 2 more. And 1 more. Lovely. Let's take the weight out the wrists and just rest into shell stretch for a moment. If you need to, give those wrists a little bit of a circle. We're doing really well. Time really flies with these. Okay, a little bit of plank work now. A progressive sequence that we're going to see those shoulder taps come back in at some point. So, you know, always remember you can just come back to what we've just done. So to start with, we set up in our box position, tuck the toes underneath, tummy drawn towards the spine. The tray of drinks is now resting on your lower back without spilling your drink. See if you can hover your knees off the mat. Try not to let your knees cave in together. So keep your balloon between your knees, but don't pop it. We lift, we pause, we hold, and then we lower. Really up to you how long you want to hold for. So just knees float up, pause, and lower. You've got it, Liz. So you're looking down between your hands, but again, the back of the neck is lifted. So you're almost tucking your chin gently in towards your chest, but keep the neck long. Lovely. Well done, Isabel. So we're going to build these up, okay? So you can stay with these. If you want to, we're going to make the box a little bit longer. So walk your hands forwards, okay? Then the knees lift, but we shoot forwards into plank. Then we bend the knees and we lower. So I want you to imagine your Usain Bolt in the starting blocks, pushing out the starting blocks to propel yourself forwards. Lift the knees, shoot forwards, come back and lower. If you don't like that, just stick with the box and lift and lower the knees. Otherwise, join me as we shoot forwards and back. Keep that tummy drawn in. Good. Drop your hips a little bit, make your box even longer. So you should have finish in a diagonal line from your head to your heels. Don't slip with sweaty hands. Good. Jill, walk your hands a bit further forwards so that when you shoot forwards, your shoulders are over your wrists, and that would be perfect. You've got it. Good. Okay. Now, if you don't want to, don't drop the knees in between. So we come from this position in the starting blocks. We push out the blocks. We come back to the blocks. We push out the blocks. And you're really working your legs here. So squeeze your thighs. We've got 10 more. Remember, these might not be for you. You might just be lifting and lowering. We've got 8 more. Breathing through. Come to cat-cow stretch if you need to. 6 more. Now these legs should be on fire. 5 more. Halfway there. 4 more. Woo. 3. We are going to end with a hold. 2. And holding your plank, holding your box lift, or just resting. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good stuff. Drop those knees and sit back to your heels once more. So quite an explosive movement if you did those Usain Bolt shooters. That's not what they're called, but I've renamed them. So that should have picked your heart rate up a little bit. Don't worry if you didn't, because I'm sure you still work quite hard. Okay, we're going to come into side lying now, and we're going to repeat that sort of sequence that we did in standing, but down on the mat. So your options are to lie flat, using a pillow to support your head, or you can use your hand to support. Now, we're all going to sort of follow the same sequence here. So your options really are about just taking more frequent rests if you need to. But if you can set yourself up, side lying with your knees bent, feet, hips, spine all in line. You're going to push that top hip down towards your heels. That little grape that we had underneath the soles of our feet earlier is now just resting just at the arch of your waist. Super simple, but we know that we need to do them well. We're going to start with our clam. So take one of your drinks from your trays and place it on that top hip. Float the knee up and down. Got that beam of light shining out of your torch. It shines forwards and then just up to the corner of the room. Tightening your pelvic floor as you lift and lower. You want to work in that area a little bit more. You can squeeze your glutes as well. Vision your seat bones sort of shortening together and then lengthening apart. Remember, this is all about the hip movement and not the spine. So the most important thing is that tray of drinks, that drink, sorry, that's resting on your top hip. I know you know clam. You can get these perfect for me. Yeah, they're looking great. Okay, I'm going to whiz on through to the next bit. We're going to run out of time. So if we remember, we took it into clam. Now we're going to add our leg kick. So kick to the corner of the room and then tap the feet back together again. Kick to the corner of the room, Tap the feet back together again. Now, if you find that you need a little rest in between, close your clam down and then reset. Otherwise, keep going. Long legs. Check in on your grate for me. Make sure it's not been squished under the side of your trunk. Check in on your glass. Make sure it's not spilled backwards. You've got 3 more kicks. 2 more kicks. And then we are going to hold these kicks. We didn't hold them in standing, but I'm not feeling quite so kind now. So kick to the corner of the room. See if you can hold it. Make sure your foot's not just hanging off the end of your leg. Lift the outer border. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. Squeeze the pelvic floor. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Well done if you got through that 10-second count. Drop the leg down, give that hip a little bit of a pat. Super stuff. Okay, we're going to go straight onto the opposite side so we don't run out of time. So come onto your back or swing round onto the opposite edge of your mat. I'm going to come and watch you a little bit more on this second sequence now we know what we're doing. Okay, so set yourself up, knees bent, feet gently pressed together. Find your grape, give it a little place to rest underneath your waist. Place your glass on top of your hip, and then when you're ready, lift and lower. Breathe out as the knee floats up and we engage the pelvic floor, and then in to release. Perfect clams, well done all round. Let's keep them going because we really want to fire up those lateral glutes. Looking good, everyone? You've got 4 more. 3 more. 2 more. Let's kick this next one out. Okay, so lift the knee, squeeze the thigh, and you're just extending the bottom half of the leg. So the top half doesn't really move. Think of the knee as a hinge joint, and you're just opening and closing that hinge. Yeah, it's a door. Shut the door, bang the door shut, open the door. Remember, you can come down in between if you need to. Rest and reset. Check in on your grape, check in on your drink, and go again. Good, well done. If you want to kick a little bit higher, you can. Do what feels good. Well done, looking strong. You've got 6 more kicks. Last little push. Good. 3 more kicks. 2 more kicks. And then find that lovely long hold for me. Long legs, squeeze your thigh, point those toes, pointing into the corner of the room. 10, 9, last push now. 8, 7, 6, 5, half a millimetre higher if you can. 4, 3, 2, and 1. We made it. Slowly come down. Give that hip a little bit of a pat. We're going to finish with a nice deep back stretch. Super simple. Come to lie on your backs. And then just hug your knees in towards your chest as tightly as you can. Breathe deeply. Let's finish as we started. So just connecting in with your breathing. Maybe a gentle rock from side to side if you want to sort of massage your lower back into the mat. We've got another short minute before we need to finish, so just enjoy breathing, stretching out your back. If you want to stretch the other way, feel free to do so. So lengthening. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lovely. Finish off that stretch and slowly bring yourself to sit. And if you need to stand.